Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media, in case you didn't know. Yo, it's time to get to it. Right here, and this is how we gonna do it. We're gonna introduce the host with the most, coming through straight from the East Coast. Let's start it off. Well, I ain't insane when I'm introducing Miss K. You know how I be doing when I bring through Jackie Lookman. All right.
Why didn't you play the rap? I was getting in.
All right. Yeah. It's your morning exercise right there. Hope y'all got it in.
Well, how could we? That was that a 2-second exercise? To what is that?
Stop it short.
Right,
Goodness.
Y'all
Anyway.
looking radiant as usual. See, I should have let my hair down.
Where'd you leave it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jackie is choosing violence this morning. I love it. You must have had a good night's sleep, Jackie.
I did.
I see.
Really fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. How was y'all meeting yesterday?
I had a meeting.
Okay.
Sir, I had a meeting. Don't you even try to shame somebody.
How was the meeting yesterday? Well, you know, I asked y'all what y'all did the other day.
You never ask us about, and do you think we would tell you what we do in our internal meetings anyway?
Oh, it was an internal meeting. Oh.
I had a meeting.
Okay.
That could mean 2 or 3 different things. Doesn't have to be bad.
It could have been a meeting in the ladies' room. Who knows?
No, now do you? And that drives you nuts.
Yeah, well, I had a nice 5-year anniversary celebration yesterday. Got to pull up some old footage. Got to see the Lukeman's first episode. That was funny. Boy, y'all could tell y'all was in love, boy. In love, be fighting, everything. Just by y'all can see it. It was beautiful. Big up to Abdus.
Y'all have to find, please find, because I looked and I can't find it. The Revolutionary Purse episode. I need that back.
My favorite. That's really can't find it. It's not on you all's channel.
I don't know where I looked for it. I can't find it. I got it. Ear doctor, you got to find that. I got it. I gotta have that. That
Revolutionary Purse.
Yes.
Jackie used to have a brown leather bag.
It was silver. Thank you. It was silver. It was very fashionable for like a year after I bought it, and then it just became the staple of everywhere. And now the other purse is that staple, the African one. But Abdus kind of hated that purse.
He really did. He did a whole segment.
Ain't like he had to wear it.
He just, I have this thing. I like bright colors and bold patterns and flowers and stuff like that. And like everything that was cutesy, like I had this pair of sandals that I loved that had a big old flower on the top. He hated them things. I thought they were so cute. And one day he was like, "You're not wearing it." I'm not, we're gonna get you some more sandals. We can't. I'm like, "What's your thing with flowers?" I don't. But he hated that purse. But he wasn't gonna like tell me I couldn't. But he talked about it all the time. You got your purse? We're going out to a demo or whatnot. He never asked if I had anything else until we got in the car and it's like, you got your damn purse.
Mm. Speaking of purses, Erica, would you date a guy that wears a merce?
A merce?
Is that the
It's a
segue?
man purse.
Was that the segue? A merce.
Just wonder.
Yes,
Jackie, it's a merce.
A
A man purse.
merce. I learned something.
They might call it a satchel.
Fanny pack. I mean, it couldn't be worse than a fanny pack. I think.
Yeah. Not because I seen the fight with what's the name? Young little TJ and Offset, and one of the dudes was fighting and had a purse, and I was like,
Like,
was he using it?
no, he just flipped it over his back. Fighting, and I was like, wow, with a merce.
Floyd Mayweather be having those, right?
Yeah, he do.
To the court side.
He do. He do.
What it would be carrying all his books in it?
Oh, Jackie! Blah 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 blah. Yo, your boy 50 is a bully. Told him he's like he'll pay him money if he can read a book. That is crazy. Yo, you gotta stop teasing people who ain't can't read that good.
Why?
Not knowing it.
Okay. No.
Why?
No.
Not like I know any, but I'm just saying.
No. Not in 2026, and not a rich black dude. Not.
If you an athlete and you got people around you to read all your contracts, to read all your business, an agent to do all this, what you picking up a book for?
And if you still silly enough to believe that you shouldn't know how to read, so that you don't leave all of that stuff to somebody else, because how many times have we seen this? Folks trusting people close to them to make the important decisions, and 10, 15 years down the line, they're broke, and this other person that they trusted they're the ones living in the mansion because they stole all that person's money.
Hey, congratulations to my other baby mama, Jamila 99. Hey, y'all, feeding the child and eating, so I had to pop in. Big up, congrats.
Mm-hmm. We ain't feeling sorry for Floyd Mayweather not reading. No sympathy for him. None. Zero.
Anyway, what's good with y'all? What's the latest? Anything? How's the organizations? No. Because on the fly, I mean the title, what is it? Thumbnail. We got a picture of what is this? Oh yeah, BLM, Black Lives Matter crew. And I put "Baby, I Got Your Money" because they was promised some money, never got it. So it was one of the stories.
No, is this like an ongoing thing? Because the last thing I saw about this alleged fraud that remember, this regime opened an investigation into BLM just last year, I think. So yes, that there was a history of this a few years ago, but if the current controversy is spurred by this regime's investigation into them, I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know.
Because it's hard to get any type of grants or funding when you got Black in your name or urban or anything that's connected. One of my friends that writes grants was letting me know. I was like, damn. I was like, that's that DEI? I said DUI. That's that whole part of that.
I think that's a good, I mean, if you want to talk about it, since, a deep side, when you said that was a thumbnail, like, oh boy. But since we're going to talk about it anyway, could we give some context to it? Because I'm kind of out of the loop. Like whose money, what money, who's being owed money?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the problem, because the last thing I saw, I don't see this on the run sheet. But the last thing I think I saw was from 2025, from last year, November of last year, when this regime told the Justice Department to investigate them. So I don't know if this new stuff is from that, but if it is, then I don't trust whatever the new allegations are because it's these folks, right? But then again, this has happened, but that was in the past. So I'm out of the loop too on where this came from. Because the last I heard was Trump was basically using the Justice Department to go after quote unquote left organizations, and they were the one, that they all know. So they went after them. I don't know.
Do y'all get funding or y'all do it on
Funding
your
from
own?
who? We are hat in hand, honey. We are hat in hand.
Excuse me.
Okay. Pay your dues. Pay your dues.
Okay. So y'all like
Yeah,
y'all like it.
yeah.
Y'all like a
nice
church.
try, Negro. Nice try, Negro. We hat in hand. Thank you. We are supported by our membership.
Okay, well that's like a church. I get it.
Okay. That's right. We are spreading the gospel of anti-imperialism and international solidarity. That's right.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the story right here. It's on line 14 on that stories, Miss Jackie. Anyway. But I just seen the story.
Oh, okay. So this is hard. Because Black Lives Matter is not in the title of the story.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the story. Here we go. All right.
I mean, we could do a break and get to the news, and I'll let you pull it up and everything. I just was like, they was asking in the chat room about.
Look, and then tell me that I missed it and it's not on the. Go ahead, and do the break. Go and do the break. Go and do the break, doggone it. I'm in a mood anyway. Go and do it.
A-Rob be always like, so I had to back to it.
Is that how it went?
We gonna take our first break right here.
Like,
the Remix Morning Show. Turn up. It's locked on the beat. Y'all ready for this? 1, 2, 3.
When the world is on your shoulder, gotta straighten up your act and book it down. If you can't get the feeling, then there ain't no room for you in this part of town. 'Cause with the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 upon the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Groove, let the medicine, the music that you do, like it's so bad at all. Living up the wall.
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you to the year of 1979. We're talking about Michael Jackson. That's right. Got a movie coming out on the 24th, I believe, with his nephew playing him. This is Off the Wall album, and the name of this song is Off the Wall. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, donate where? At blkliberationmedia.org. Go get you some swag, get fresh, get fly, and share it, let everybody know. This is what you could do. You could take a picture, screenshot of this right here, this Remix Morning crew, and put it on your social media and tell them, go watch the Remix Morning Show. That's all you gotta do. Come on, stop playing in our face. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Go.
That was an interesting beat. You know what it reminds me of?
A rave?
Yes.
A rave?
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
beat
that's that
was
that
one there.
yeah, the beat on top, but yeah, very rave techno. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was
Mhm.
making it, I was thinking of that scene in Blade at the beginning when they was all in that little party, and there was this coming out the sprinklers. So
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh, okay, yeah.
you remember
Yeah.
that part in Blade? They was in
Yes.
there
Yep.
partying hard, like
Yeah. I do
yeah.
like that. That was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you,
Mhm.
Ear Doctor on the beat, y'all. All right, let me get up out of here. Let y'all get to some news.
Mhm. All right, let's be principled and go ahead and toss the satellite, sir. I know he Sweet. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. This is the news segment. I'm Jackie Lukman. That's Erica Canes in the background. We got Ear Doctor pushing the buttons. And listen, okay, we gotta pay some fidelity to this story that is related to the thumbnail. Oops. And it is actually not just about Black Lives Matter. Whoops. This is the story, and it says financial promises made to Black nonprofits in 2020 faded quickly. New report shows. Let's see. Then they go down into in 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, major corporations and foundations pledged millions of dollars to Black-led nonprofits and organizations in an effort to confront systemic racism and police violence. A new report, however, shows that those promises remain largely unfulfilled and for some reason, what do you mean for some reason, never materialized. According to the nonprofit information service Candid and the philanthropy organization ABFE, only a small group of large Black-led nonprofits defined in the report as having annual expenses over $1 million received major funding between 2020 and 22. Funding began to decline by 2023, suggesting to researchers that the support may have been temporary. During the George Floyd period, the pandemic period, there were definitely some things that came available to our organizations because there was just this tremendous response to what was happening in communities, and it was more available to Black communities, Black organizations, and Black-led organizations than it has been historically. But I think that window closed probably in 2023. One nonprofit leader told researchers. While the report states that more foundations did respond to the call to give to Black nonprofits, the gifts were uneven. Smaller nonprofits saw very little funding, if any, in the wake of the racial reckoning. 76% of Black led nonprofits with budgets under $1 million, that's practically all. Anyway, experienced no significant change in funding from 2016 and 2023. Researchers found Susan Taylor Botten, president and CEO of ABFE, pointed out that today's anti DEI climate has made it extremely challenging for Black led nonprofits to grow their organizations. Black led nonprofit leaders are being asked to meet rising community needs while navigating an increasingly hostile environment toward race explicit work, often without the flexible, sustained funding needed to build staff, strengthen infrastructure, or plan for the long term. She explained the cycle of short-lived transactional investments keeps organizations doing the critical work in communities in constant survival mode rather than scaling the solutions our communities need. That's what this is about. Not necessarily about Black Lives Matter as an organization, but about the promises, the empty and pretty much worthless promises of corporate America, to give the Black folks some money to keep them from breaking our windows and stuff. And when that anger in the streets died down, then they were like, oh, okay, we're cool. Okay. All right, thank you. Bye. Go
Well,
away.
I was going to name certainly before the anger in the streets died down. So they've already kind of been, just making sure my mic was on. They've already kind of been losing money already,
Mm-hmm.
and really, I want to say we're at a point of these Black feminist led kind of nonprofits. It is a reckoning happening with them more specifically because they are losing money. They're losing money by like a lot of money very quickly. And much of this did happen after October 23rd. I mean, yeah, October 3rd, rather, 2023. Or October 7th, rather, 2023.
Yeah. Yeah.
The happened after that. So that's why you would see. I think there was a time where we were all like, where are all these nonprofit organizations? Where are our orgs making statements in support of Palestine or saying anything? Many of them couldn't or didn't want to because they were already in precarious situations, especially like with the reproductive justice orgs. They were losing a lot of money. Many of them are backed by Zionists or funded by Zionists. And so it wasn't a statement at all. It was very soft shoed. But I do think that this dovetails into the piece that I shared that was written on Scallywag.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do think even when we talk about terms like DEI and all of that, as we're seeing this sort of this identity reductionism, because what I want to name about these nonprofits specifically, right, even when they talk about community work, there's a way that they have to discuss the community work in order to get the grants and the funding, right? So they are intentionally siloing themselves from a holistic approach to community work so that they can receive the funding, which then kind of deepens the disconnect in our community, right? Because folks are only concerned, which is kind of my pushback on the way that we discuss youth, right? Youth do not exist in a vacuum. Youth exist in our community, right? So what does it mean for a holistic approach around how we see youth or how we see the women's question or how we see, violence? But this piece, one, I want to name it because, it's a rare condition in this day and age to see myself cited in a newspaper page because people just like to act like I don't have work around a lot of these things because I am not a scholar, I am not an academic, but I did get hyperlinked for identity reductionism. But what the writer does here is they add on to the mode of thought by really interrogating misogynoir and the utility of it and the usage of it and the weaponization of it. So they do add more context to what I discussed in passing in terms of like how Kamala Harris is used, etc. So I do want to recommend this piece. I think it's really well written, but also having read it, it made me think about, I think there's more to add to this. These last couple weeks, y'all, I've been slowly kind of, using more Marxist lingo on here. But even in terms of like how we're understanding our conditions, because I really want to emphasize like these are not words that we're using when we talk about dialectical materialism or historical materialism. And Marx himself doesn't actually define it, right? He talks about the process of it, and he talks about the process of it initially abstractly so that we are able to then apply it or at least attempt to apply it. And so when I think about identity reductionism and even reading this piece, what was offered in addition to what I have, and Musa has also given a lot of language around this as well, but we understand it to be a tool of the neocolonial class, right? So when we talk about Black misleadership class, we're speaking about a comprador class. We're speaking about a specific neocolonial class. And so identity reductionism is not identity politics. Identity politics, which I have continued to argue and will argue forever, is valid, right? If it's valid for the Jews.
Right. How come it's not valid for everybody else? It is.
It's not a problem with identity politics. Black people use it, right?
Oh, isn't it
Um,
identity politics for MAGA?
but the issue for us is the way that we reduced, the politics to particular axis gender, and we specifically with massage noir, right? Um,
Wait, hold on, you're breaking
was
up.
around. Oh, sorry. Did you touch something?
Uh-oh. We can hear you a little bit.
Okay.
You're catching up. Okay.
Yeah, because people are moving around here. um, so we see this when we talk about certain things. But what I want to just name is that the reductionism in identity reductionism, one, it's ahistorical because it ignores so much like colonialism and class formation and how people end up in particular positions. It promotes a level of individualism, right? It's the my trauma, my repression kind of leading language, right? Rather than a collective kind of approach. And then it's so we see that. But what I want to name, because I'm kind of rambling a bit, but what I want to name is that what we're seeing is a particular kind of isolating identity from class and more specifically the material relations. So when we talk about identity reductionism, or when we talk about anything pertaining to class, all of this is about social relations and how we interact. Like when you all had the discussion yesterday about the youth and how they're being perceived, there's no places for them to go because the city has structured itself so that they can create specific particular kind of social relations. So if the children have nowhere to go, then they're innately criminalized, and that is a Trojan horse for occupation, right? But when we talk about what we're seeing in terms of this kind of class or identity reductionism, I'm always thinking about the function of it. What are we made to be thinking about? Because even to the point of those nonprofits, we have been siloed into these kind of DEI formats where we're only thinking in that way, right? They serve a function where they become a visible kind of representation for a marginalized group, but they don't actually deal with the concerns and the repression of said marginalized group. And I was thinking about Ali Kadri, because me and Khadijah are like a little now. But Ali Kadri, he says something like wasted man is visibly the prevalent commodity on sale. And that made me think about these NGOs, right? And if we're saying that a lot of these NGOs, which are a lot of them are Black feminist led, or they're focused with a Black feminist focus, are losing money. I'm also thinking about what that looks like outside of the U.S., right? Like the USAID things, where we empowerment kind of structures or movements, right, that are like NGO based, and it's happening in a mining field, but they're never addressing the mining field and how that impacts the women. But they are addressing the sort of social dynamics and the social relations that are impacted by that mining company. So there's a way that we miss, we're like fixated on one thing and we call that the work. And so even when we look at what's happening here with that article, I think there's a way that we kind of disconnect that the aspect of social relations. What is the use of these women or these people? Because that comprador class or this Blackness leadership class is not just Kamala Harris and Jasmine Crockett. The other piece I sent is that Brandon Scott, Baltimore's beloved hip hop man, right? He is now going to the mayors of the U.S. coalition or whatever that is. And so in a neo-colonial, if it is that we believe in the idea of racial capitalism, right? Because people keep saying that. They keep talking about racial capitalism. Then why are we divorcing capitalism from the utility, like from its use value? How are we understanding the use value of race? What are people meant to be doing? So there's a weaponization of it, and yeah. So I've just been thinking about the way that they use it. Like if we talk about
Mhm.
um misogynoir, right? A fixation on black women's labor. And so
Mhm.
if they can talk about the suffering, there goes the grants, right? Um
Right.
so
Right. And
there's a way that black women's trauma has an exchange value because it's
mm,
clicks, it's grant proposals, and then you have a particular kind of diversity metrics that occurs, right? Um, but none of it actually deals with liberation of women. None of it.
uh-huh.
Because they don't actually talk about the conditions in which women are repressed.
Mm.
Because
Just
they
more
avoid
self-care and just
yeah.
more self-care and revolutionary rest
Right.
and
So if it is that we believe when we're talking about racial capitalism, then how are we divorcing these things? Right? How are we divorcing it from an anti-colonial struggle? And how are we
mhm.
divorcing it from understanding that race and gender is not just like a happenstance of capitalism. It is a feature in the mode of production because they are setting up our social relations to be that. So if we as black
Mhm.
women who predominantly take the brunt of labor, if we are removing ourselves from even being in the conversation of labor and use value and social relations, like we're not even having those discussions to even talk about like, well, what is our positionality here and what are we looking to do? It's just a sort of exchange value of platforms and more funding, and I don't know that we're any closer. And then when you see that all of this could be just taken away swiftly, it was really all for naught. We're really just in a circular kind of position, not moving forward in any kind of way except to continue to propagate around identity.
Mhm. Yep.
So I hope
And
it all
and that
makes sense. So sometimes I just start rambling, but I do
no.
think there's a way that we are just not addressing the actual conditions that we're finding ourselves in. And honestly, it's just so much freaking abstract discussion. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Like I'm actually losing my mind because it's like, what are we actually saying? Like death to postmodernism. I can't take it. It's just like we gotta come out the clouds, y'all, and really like hone in on what's happening because we have the language for it. We're discussing it in some ways, but the second we get to like a material kind of understanding, then it's like
Mhm.
too close to sex.
Right.
That's
Right.
sex, right? So so that's what I'm
Right. Oh no, that's too close to critiquing our potential funding source. That's yeah, we can have because I've been in too many of those rooms or on those calls, so to speak. Um, we're fine to talk about this. We know this is a problem, but that's not a track that we can take. Oh, the language they come up with for not addressing the problem, for not naming the issue, for not critiquing the actual issue. That it is very intentional. And it's not in a lot of cases in from what I have experienced. Now, in some cases it really is that some people don't understand what the system is, but I really believe that it's not a whole lot of those folks in these organizing spaces, in these organizations, even the liberal ones, the nonprofits. But there is no critique of the system because they're getting their funding from the system, right? And that is like the I think what Erica named is the internal contradictions of this whole relationship between these nonprofits and the people, and the nonprofits and their funding, right? And capitalism, where they get their funding from. But there is the other relationship that is more front facing, that's on the surface, that people see but they don't understand. So when they see these organizations not taking a stand on obvious things like a doggone genocide, how do Black people not oppose a genocide? That's been crazy to me. But even I had to understand, hold on now, a lot of these people get their money from the apparatus that's funding the genocide. So they do not want, they are literally looking at losing their bread and butter if they critique the system that they get their bread and butter from, right? And you and I, we are on this platform, on this show, because I think somebody asked in the chat, should we be taking money from this system, from this apparatus, from capitalists? And we've had this discussion that there are some instances, because there is such a thing as class suicide, and there have been some capitalists who have done that, and when they do it, it's pretty obvious. It's not something you can miss, right? But most capitalists aren't doing that. Most aren't doing that at all. So we organizers do have to be, I'll put it this way, those of us who are serious about the connection and the relationship we have with our people and the work that we are doing with our people, that is our focus. And that is what we protect above everything else. So if that means in the course of us just doing that work, doing this work, we have to say no to some sketchy funding. We will say no to some sketchy funding if it means it's going to be a problem with the relationship with our people. Everybody is not like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for a whole lot of reasons. But it's just, this is the I think the surface level. This article in Scalawag, I like that they go into the misogynoir of this, siphoning away of funding. It all fits into this social, political rise of these conservative personal trends, relationship trends.
Mm-hmm.
All of these organizations that are Black feminist led are getting defunded as the trad wife trend is blowing up. That, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that's not a coincidence, right? Because
Also,
it is
though,
all the same thing, right?
yeah, I
So
think so.
there are so many levels to this. Like, we see, oh, it's this organization shouldn't be taking money from this thing, and they should have known better. Yeah, they should have, but the reality is, this is the reality, that a lot of organizations do get funding from, or they were promised this funding from these huge corporations, like I said, because they really did not want the Black folks to tear up their stuff. And then, they're like, okay, the pressure's off a little bit now. All right. And then they see the political winds going farther to the right. Yeah, they had to snatch that funding. Of course they did. Because they want to be in good graces with power. And that's not us,
Yeah, I
so
do. I do wonder, though, to even to your point, we are seeing instances of capitulation, but also I do think we need to be honest that many of these groups don't have any objectives beyond how do we keep the funding coming in.
right.
So they're
True.
not really thinking beyond that. And so when I talk about exchange value, like, they only exist for that exchange value. And so, and that's how a comprador class does get propped up, right? Because even when we look at these let's look at these Black feminist nonprofits, for instance, right? They held their breath to the last moment and then released the "We support Kamala Harris." But
Mm,
they understood the times and the moment. They seen all that was happening, and so it was the last possible second that they could say it. They did, and then had to go on this whole tirade about why it's so important, because they know it's BS, right? But this is a way that they
mhm.
prop up these same comprador classes. If we aren't clear that these organizations exist or these nonprofits exist to kind of stand off or struggle against or defeat this type of repression that's occurring in our communities, where we have no access to a lot of things, then how in turn do they then exist to support the very same figures, right? And that's because of the way that it's because of identity reductionism and the weaponization of identity politics that sustains this comprador Black misleadership class, because all they're doing is adopting Western liberal identity frameworks. And they're using that as a device, right? So in that way, they're like, oh, these are the people we should be listening to, but not these people, right? And there's also a way that a lot of these nonprofits punch left as progressives. They punch left.
That useless word.
You know what I think is interesting? Every time I'm in these spaces where we have to do these coalition work, right? And you know, I know niggas hate to see me coming. I promise you, I get into these spaces, I come into these meetings, I say nothing. I'm just listening in. And every Black nonprofit always feels the need to make some grand speech about the left. Left doesn't understand. In the meeting, this is a meeting about how we're strategizing as a left. So then I always thinking to myself, so are you not part of the left? Are you outside of the left? Do you think differently from the left? Are you like, what are you saying?
Right.
What are we saying?
Right.
It's interesting that they always make it a point to do that. Always. They always have to talk about what the left's not doing correctly. As we're in the space to kind of think about what could we be doing correctly.
Right. And do you feel like when that happens, because that's happened to me a couple times, do you feel like they save that up until you walk in the door? They ain't thinking about that until they see you. And it's like, and you know what our problem is? The far left. I'm like, who?
The left is not realistic. The left needs to meet people where they're at. The left is right here in the room with you, bro. But I say that to say, like, we have to think about the function of that, right? Because we're never really thinking about the function of these people in these spaces, because they become these sort of visible representations of our marginalized or groups. And that's how they begin to silo off, right? Like, even in the instances around ICE, we have groups working specifically around Black immigration, right? And that's not an issue, because I will say there's a way that we talk about immigration and forget that Black people are immigrants.
Right.
But we do, that's done in a way that continues to embed in that separation. There's the Black immigrants, and then there's the real immigrants. You know, that kind of, you know, as opposed to what is the collective kind of approach and work. Because we do understand that these things take on different characters and dynamics, and we do need to have our own focus. But in terms of the exchange value of this, what objectively are we trying to do when we break apart, break off, create these groups? What are we trying to do? Where are we trying to go? And so, not really sure that any of this has been answered. And I also want to name, not everybody that joins these things or get involved, you know, this is not a cynical thing. Some people genuinely only understand these processes of being able to do the work because they've been made to believe that, right? Our kind of organizing, they don't get shit done. The shit we doing, that don't get shit done. You need to be in one of these spaces that actually get the money, because you can't organize without money, you know? All the rhetoric that we hear, so that it can continue to prop up and validate these institutions as they are, because the people in the institutions, that's not where the criticism is. Because even if they wanted to do benevolent acts, it does not exist to do that. And so that's what we have to kind of make clear. Like, there's ways that you can get around shit. There's always some way to get around. But when we talk about what it's actually for, channeling our dissent, right, into fundable projects, it has the same effect. It has the exact same effect of misleading by substituting visibility for structural change, right? So we've seen the last, decade plus, more Black people in all these spaces, and then they cut DEI. And I can't say Black when you're when you're trying to
Right.
fix things, right? So it's a way that it created this illusion through visibility and the actual mode of production, the actual exchange value, the actual structure has never changed. And we're still not addressing that. What we're addressing is the funding.
Right. Right. And it is just a never ending struggle. And especially, I'm sure it's the same in every big city, but especially here in DC, you hear that a lot. And then, from the nonprofits, oh, those far leftists, those those crazy Pan-Africanists, what do they do? All they do is sit around and talk about, uniting Africa. But what do they get? What do they get done? What did they get done? What ballot initiatives have they put on the ballot? That's whenever they talk about revolutionary and radical grassroots organizations not getting anything done, and then they counter with what they've done. It's always some electoral thing every single time. It is always, we got something put on the ballot, we got a bat, and I'm not saying that's important, but that is their focus. The ones who are the loudest to critique other organizations, that they believe accomplishments are getting an idea in front of people so they can vote on it. Right? And that is the only focus. So it's a very interesting, it's interesting, and it's really hard sometimes to kind of find your people in this mess. But that's really the whole kind of point of it. We're not supposed to find each other. This is all supposed to, they exist to capture the rest of us, as many of us as they can. So so that we troublesome Africans are absorbed by them, but we just too damn stubborn. We just won't go with them. That's all. So
and like I just am interested in how we acknowledge certain things, right? Like I think the pushback when we talk about race or race dynamics, and people are like, "Oh, race is structured." Race is structured. Gender is structured to what? We're talking about social relations. Social relations is constructed to do what? And this is my emphasis on base and superstructure. If we understand what the base of this empire is, all the rest of it only serves to validate and support that base. So, and that includes misogynoir, the use of it, and the weaponization of it. And so I think I think, we need to start inserting that, because we do not think about ourselves in those terms of how we useful to the capitalist system. They're always thinking about how we're useful to the capitalist system. They're always thinking about different ways that they can make us useful to them, and that includes race and gender. They become use value for the capitalist elite, which is why I went to Annapolis bar, and I'm from Anne Arundel, well, loosely. I grew up in Anne Arundel County, right? And so I have not been out in Anne Arundel County in quite some time. And then I went to Annapolis. It's like, ooh, so white. So white. And, they have the Navy salesmen and all that. But I'm in a bar, a lot of bleach hair white women, French acrylics, typical Anne Arundel County girl. Dreams and Nightmares comes on. They all know it. They know every lyric to Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmare. And I said, and this is, see, the use value of culture. They don't give a shit about it.
but they know Meek Mill. Wow.
Use value and exchange value in culture. They don't ever have to respect our culture, respect us. But, they could drop a hot 16. because of
You
the
know
way
what?
there's a use value in culture. There's a use value in practice. And so
You
even
know
just
what?
was like, wow.
That's a perfect segue for two things. And the other thing we're gonna pick up on the other side of this break. But you know who has really, really high use value? The ear doctor.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for?
You know, I really know how to pick a good thumbnail on the right day. I knew this would lead to this, you know, two organizers on the screen to talk about organizing, you know what I mean? Because that's the whole thing. It's like we was having, I think I played a clip of the ADOS BPM thing back in the day, and Kamal was talking about, you know, the reparations thing. Like, why would your enemy make you whole? So when it comes to that whole organizing and getting funding from, you know, the government and blah, 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 it's like you could go that way, or like we do on Black Liberation Media, we crowd surf. We ask y'all to make sure that we are here and continue to stay here so we don't have to depend on that funding. So, yeah, you're welcome.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Damn it.
I mean,
You're
look a
right.
little. Sometimes I gotta come on screen so I can put y'all on the value of my mind. You're right.
What a value.
Just play the music.
And
It's
if
not time yet.
if you find any value of Ear Doctor's mind, please go ahead and donate.
You see how that all worked out with that? I knew it. I was like, organizers. You know, and it wasn't even about the BLM. It was just about the whole organizing thing and the funding and stuff. So
yeah.
You know.
Thank you, Ear Doctor.
The disrespect I'll be getting, boy.
Didn't I ask it 3 times?
No, not you at all. Big up chat room.
Oh, you gonna go ahead? Oh no, you're not. No, you're not.
Big up chat room. For the disrespect. Throw them away when I put up these thumbnails. I be so confused when I see the thumbnail. You damn right. That's why you gotta go watch and find out. All right. So we got Erica Kane's leaving us.
Story on the run sheet.
she got some things to do. So we got another host coming through. I guess I could get to a break right now. Y'all need to use the bathroom, I assume.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. You think I didn't while y'all was talking?
Yeah, but I ain't heard you no more.
Word. All right. So let's take it. Listen, Miss Keynes, you have a great week. We'll see you back here next Wednesday or before then if you're on somebody else's podcast. All right. Let's take a break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Rock it up. Yeah. She'll know about that. That's that Trinidad Tobago. Yo, big up to all y'all tuning in. We are celebrating 5 years right here on Black Liberation Media, and we have a bunch of dope shows. So in honor of those 5 years, I thought I'd play some throwback clips. Y'all like that? Throwback clips. And this is a throwback clip of one of our shows that started off and then it went to a whole nother level. Check this out.
But how y'all doing? We're here. Our first official episode on BLM.
We are back.
We back after our tiny little break.
Yep.
Hopefully y'all can find us. Hopefully. I think you can though, because this is what you linked in the social media, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
People coming in.
Dr. Layla Brown and Dr. CBS. And that is when I did a little editing and brought him back with the last dope intellectual when they brought in.
All right, so welcome, Dr. Horn.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Okay, so when we had you on the Talk Black last week or a few weeks ago,
you gave us a rundown of the international situation, but today we're talking about all things domestic, which of course, as you point out, has an international context. And so when we spoke about what to talk about today, you sent us some homework, an article to read. And it was the article, What Thurgood Marshall Taught Me by Stephen L. Carter, that was published on July 14th in the New York Times, where he basically has this very sort of saccharine, laudatory rendering of the life of Thurgood Marshall.
Oh, saccharine, laudatory. Oh, you know what word I'm looking up today. Come on, man. Come through Dr. CBS with some big ass words. I'm going to start. Wait, I'm going to start pulling out some words y'all ain't never heard before. Anyway, let's get right back to it right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Wait a minute. We got, okay. Wait a minute. We still got Miss Kings? She's still in the building? Is she on froze?
Yeah, I said 9:00, and you was running me out of here.
Yeah, you tried to kick her out early.
Yeah, at 8:53. I said, "Oh, okay, damn."
Oh, it's 8:53.
Is the money at least on the night?
You know what it was? It was your that hard wind blew through and hit your internet, and I didn't know if I needed to jump in because you kept freezing up. So I was like, well, let me jump in. But hopefully it don't blow. The wind don't blow too hard, and
you know, you hush up.
I mean, earlier somebody walked in the room and it was like,
No, because she literally hit the Ethernet cord.
I know.
Literally just stepped right on it.
Welcome to America, the richest country in the world, where your internet can be iffy.
Did you ever hear that word she used? Dr. CBS used?
What word?
I don't even remember. It was so good.
Yes.
So is that a thing with y'all scholars? Y'all throw big words out the. Yeah, you're a scholar. Come on, you read more books than a librarian. But I'm just saying, like, is that your thing? That y'all best each other with big words, and they'd be like, "Oh
God, no."
No? Well, because I read, I could hardly pronounce half those words. Because what I
this is the word.
E at the end.
What is this word again?
Saccharin.
Saccharin.
And that word, that's another word for sugar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Also, yeah, and it also means like syrupy, disgustingly sweet, as in like a fake kindness, dripping with fake kindness.
That's dope. I'm gonna have to use that one. Saccharin.
But no, we don't sit around and best each other with big words, because I would lose every damn time. Because Dr. CBS and doctors CBS and Brown doctors. It's just Jacqueline over here.
Just a country girl from Carolina, huh?
I'm from Carolina. What's the matter with you?
Where you from again? Where your people from? Alabama?
Virginia.
5 years.
I mean, what is the state over? My bad. Virginia.
I mean, do you see how little attention people pay to you? You hang out with them for 5 years.
5 years. I knew your people was from the South. That's not a stretch.
I mean, all of us are from the damn South. We from the West Coast of Africa, and we from the South of this place. What you mean?
Yeah, that wasn't a stretch. Yeah, you know. I'm Alabama and Texas. That's where my people are from. Anyway,
okay, I'm not mad at you. It took me and Abdus 2.5 years to spell each other's names right. I'm not even offended.
Okay. All right. Well, we got Renee coming through. She got a little tech issue, but she's doing her thing. So we might have Erica Cage for another couple minutes here. Look at that. We might get another story in. That kid ain't going nowhere.
Let's see. So, okay. So while you're still here, really quick, I wanted to ask you about this foolishness. I know you saw this from Musa, but come on now, what the hell is going on with these people? Uh-oh.
Caricatures, black idols. I like, yeah, we can be understanding and have cultural, understanding, but Iran trying to encourage black people to resist the US government right now, to me, just seems very guard dog-ish. And
Turn it off.
Turn it off. Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't.
It gets better.
Yeah.
I actually, that's the first. I thought you were going to show me the one on Cuba.
Oh yeah.
They share that with me. This is I've heard some rumblings that this was happening, but I haven't actually seen that video. But also, it's like that. All right, cut it out. You know when I just don't think we need to really, really seriously think about bringing shame back. Because the real issue here, and even as I talk about use and exchange value and consumption, it's far too many people just hitting record and then uploading bullshit, right? Far too many. It's a free-for-all, if you will. And so it doesn't have to be grounded in anything, truth or anything, because it's so overtly saturated, which is any and everybody. Just record and post. And so I couldn't even fathom listening to the rest of that, because what are you saying about our dog?
That's the thing.
What are you actually saying? And this is the abstraction I be talking about, Jackie. I just be like, what are you saying? What the fuck are you trying to say?
Right. What do you mean? Like, on so many levels, it is so absolutely like, okay, first of all, what do you mean? Because later on she says Iran is using Black culture with hip hop and rap to turn Black people against our government. What do you mean, our government?
It's hers. She can have it.
Like, if you want it, you go ahead. I don't want no parts of it. But then the argument that Iran has never done anything for us. Heifer, if you tell me you don't know what the fuck you're talking about without telling me you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What do you mean? Iran, we've talked about the long relationship between Iran and Black liberation struggles, particularly not just through Malcolm, but they know our history of struggle probably better than a lot of us do.
Most do.
I mean, they done put Malcolm on a missile. They've already had him on a stamp. They already commemorated because Malcolm is Muslim, and they commemorated him on a stamp in what, the 80s or something or other like that. They have put Malcolm on a missile. They have put Tupac on a missile. They have put, like, what is wrong with you? They haven't done anything for us. The Ayatollah Khomeini, in several speeches in Iran, talked about the history of hypocrisy of the United States because of the way they treated us. Repeatedly, he has said that about this country in the context of, how dare these people who mistreat their own citizens, who did this to Africans, brought them from their home, and then did what they did to them. How dare these people lecture us on what we can and cannot do, talking about how evil we are? How dare they? And she gonna get on here and talk about Iran is using Black culture to turn us against this government, and they've never done anything. Do you not understand the honor these people are paying to us? Like, our culture is the soundtrack for this stage, and not because they are exploiting our culture, because you got to understand who's making these videos. It's not the old men in government. It's this young generation of Iranians who love hip hop just like every other young generation of people does around the world. That's how powerful the art is. So, man, oh my God, she just makes me want to be violent.
Let me just name. Right. No, putting Black icons on stamps and bombs and street signs means nothing, right? Doesn't really mean much, right? We could say that's a surface level kind of form of solidarity. But there is a history, a material solidarity, right? There's a history of that. And that's occurring through the George Floyd, Trayvon. To your point, the Ayatollah, he's always spoken out about it in the light of the hypocrisy. And anytime he's done that, we've seen or heard people make those same remarks. Oh, he's just doing this to gain favor with Black people. Because the only people clearly who care about Black people are the whites in the US. That's what we're saying. Nobody else could care about Black people. And so there's also this way that we do the one-to-one thing, right? Because if it's happening here, then it must be happening everywhere else. And to your point, nobody ever has to learn about Iran or West Asia. They go around calling them Arabs for the rest of their life and not care. Because they do. They don't have exactly to what they do. Iranian culture, right? Or that Iranian culture has Africans in it, y'all. Africans exist in Iran. They exist. A large part of those school children were little Black girls, y'all. When you look at the what was it? The see me in words. The memorializing of the children after, right? And you see those are African mothers, y'all. Those were dark-skinned Iranians, y'all. Right? Yep. So there's a way that they don't have to really actually know anything. But then so what are we saying about rap? Because here's the thing about Black culture. What is that? What is Black culture that it has existed and been found? Like, because if we're talking about this being a settler colony, right? And we're talking about white supremacists, settler colony, et cetera, all the wordage. And so we innately understand it as the base. Anything that we have done in this country has been done from that base, from that foundation. We never cracked it. We've never had a revolution, y'all. We just build ourselves up to survive that base. So whatever culture we think we have is also a product of that base. So what Black culture? That's why we got the girls saying our country. They want to turn us against our government. That's your culture, Black people. Which is why we say snap the binds. That's why we talk about the language. No, don't say our government is doing shit. Don't say our, because we're not connected to that.
Right. Yeah, we ain't doing nothing. No, we are bombing. No, we are not bombing nothing.
It's the same way. I just made that example. All those white girls, of course they know Meek Mill lyrics. Of course. Because that's their culture too. It's American culture. It's USCN culture. Anything Black culture here has been tainted because it does not. We don't exist in a vacuum, y'all. We are eternally colonized. Like it's not the Black Belt in New Africa. Like that's something that we're striving for. But even that exists within the imperial core. So we would still have to struggle around all of that. When we talk about being overtly propagated, and we talk about propaganda, and we talk about the uses of the Blackness leadership class or Kamala Harris, all of that is one and the same. That is the culture. So if they're using hip hop, I mean, will we staking claim to it? It's just solely ours. Because Iranian people rap too, they have,
and it is fire. It is fire too. That just
like Palestinians rap.
That
They exist. They make music. And much of it, yes, they are inspired and encouraged by our liberation struggles because they understand them to be one and the same. It is us here with the confusion. We don't understand it to be one and the same. They know what the contradiction is. We don't know what the contradiction is. We're not clear on the contradiction, which is why we're fighting identity politics. Which is why we're tackling things once at a time. We're gonna address race, and then we're gonna address youth, and then we're gonna address gender, because these are all separate things.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
It's the confusion is here. The confusion is
w-
with us. Added on.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
It's we're a mess. Yeah.
Me and Renee Johnston got something to say.
Oh,
There you go. I was just letting them cook.
they cooking. But nah, Erica, I see what you're saying. I see where you're going with this. It's like black culture. Yo, big up to ZZ Lion Dad sending in $20,
hey,
respecting culture analyst. Yeah, black
hey.
culture. When you think about it, you think about okay, like chitlins, black culture. No, we was only forced to eat chitlins because that's what they gave us. That's not black culture. That's what happened to blacks once they got over here, whence they got over here in Americas. So that's
Whence?
not black
I
culture.
think it is. I think we can say that it is a semblance of our culture innately, like our African culture, to to come together and make, do survive those kind of tactics. Because I'm thinking about, we just did the Reclaiming Our Seas. Oh, if folks have not seen that, it's on BAP's YouTube page. It was a teaching that was done at Medgar's Ever with the intent of, agitating the Caribbean diaspora, because we exist, y'all. We should actually give a shit about what's happening in the Caribbean. But we had that conversation, and one of the things that Sandy names, Dr. Sandy, is that we already have these kind of skill sets as a diaspora, because we know how to build. We're already doing that here as low wage workers, or in some extent, we're building homes. We're the electricians, but we're also not made to understand how we can utilize that for ourselves, because we only understand work in service of others, and that's separate or completely different from the Caribbean, right? Where that's a cultural thing. Like, people know how to build, people, because that's just what you do. People labor because that's just what you do. Here, it's like, oh, it's a different kind of understanding of why the labor occurs. And so that, I think, is a cultural thing. How do we get back and fetch? How do we return to the source? Because we come with these already communal ideas, communal ways of living. And then here we are so individualistic that we're like tying, or we're basically tying ourselves down to this sinking ship for some aspects of culture, because we don't understand ourselves outside of this. We're not made to.
So how far do we got to go back to practice our culture, or has it changed throughout time? You know what I'm saying? If it was imperialistic back, if we was go back to Africa, how far do we got to go back to get to our culture?
Well, what do you think are aspects of our culture? Is
Yeah,
violence
like
an aspect of our culture?
Maybe a little bit for territory, or like how they would say Africans enslaved Africans, but it wasn't really enslavement of Africans. It was more like, huh?
I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh. Y'all be ready to jump. As soon as I say something, y'all be ready to jump me, boy.
Yeah, because I was waiting for that, but it wasn't that way, and I was like, okay.
Nah. It wasn't like that. That's what I'm saying. Is certain fighting? Yeah, it was some violence going on, but I don't think it was to the level of colonizing, taking your culture, taking your religion, and all that stuff like the Europeans and the Arabs did. But yeah. So that's just a question. I'll go back here and listen.
I think what Erica repeatedly says gives us a clue. Like, we do not have to know anything about any other country in this world but this one. That is how we are indoctrinated. So those of us who know that we are African, because I swear those ADOS folks, I give up. Y'all do what you want. Me, I give up. That's just But we need to learn about who we are. We're not American. And we need to stop trying to make ourselves American. So we need to learn about how we existed before here. And no, we are not going to be able to recreate everything here. And some people aren't going to want to. But if we don't want to continue to perpetrate the colonizer's culture, this is what we mean by decolonizing ourselves, our education, our faith, our everything, our family structures. We have to stop following the rules and dictates of this colonial culture. If we understand that having a woman stay at home and keep the house and have the babies is a family structure that is imposed on the colonized by the colonizer for specific reasons. And if you don't know that, yes, you need to understand that this whole nuclear family business, husband, wife, and children, that is not a universal family structure among most indigenous cultures in the world, because
Yeah.
these cultures are more communal and they are not isolated into specifically defined units. Aunties, uncles, cousins, them. We grew up with play cousins. We call
Yeah.
everybody who is a friend of our parents auntie and uncle. So we do carry some of that with us, but we don't understand the cultural importance of it, and we don't know how to expand that outside of the limited experience we have with it, and recognize that this is our village, this is our family. And the way these other people are telling us a family is about, oh, you don't have a father in the home, a single parent, what is the phrase that I've come to hate? A single mother. What? She's a mother, period. Why does there need to be a qualifier on it that
She ain't
signals?
around, Jackie.
And it's like, why do we keep perpetrating this colonial bullshit and then wonder why we get lost in separating ourselves from the colonizers. It's not, so I think it's less, I think what I'm trying to say, it is less about how far do we go back to reestablish or reconnect with our culture. It's what we are doing right now with what we understand is a colonial construct, a capitalist construct, and flat out exploitation. Are we still buying into that, or are we making an effort to separate ourselves even from that? And that's what I think. And I know that that is easier said than done, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
What you got to say, Renee?
Look, he done threw me up. I was just letting y'all go. I was enjoying the conversation. I am even more firmly of the belief that a lot of what happened during chattel slavery was to get to this point exactly, which was to completely separate us from our historic, that knowledge that grows within you because you are in a place, right? And so a lot of, the reason the ADOS and FDA people work my nerves is their blatant disregard for that ancestral knowledge is mind-boggling to me, right? How do you just completely pretend as if there's this whole knowledge base that is literally does not exist within you, but it's intentional. That's what the colonizer wanted. That's what the structure continues to want. They don't want us to be connected to all of those things that are traced down that we don't really have an explanation for. It's just what we are, it's just what it is, right? That I don't know any Black people that don't have an auntie and uncle who are not related to them. Literally, I know none. Right? So where does that come from? Right? So I I just firmly and completely agree with everything you both were saying. Like, it's just there is a lot of work to be done, and you know, I jumped in right as Ricky was saying, like, it's us, we're the confused ones. Right? And it's so true. Like I look around and I'm like, how, like, why don't people know this shit? And it's like, literally, like, we're the confused ones. And so, as is always stated, you know, that's why you got to organize. That's why you have to talk to folks. That's why you have to be outside. You know, there has to be this work to reconnect people, not just with that ancestral knowledge, but also to understand that we are all truly connected, that there is no struggle outside of these borders that are not connected to the struggle within these borders.
And the indoctrination started early. Talking about back in school and being called an African booty scratcher. I ain't no African booty scratcher. I don't even want no parts of being African. What are you talking about? So it definitely started very, very early. You said what? Trying to be like you muted, Jackie.
I was about to say, how'd you get called the African booty scratcher? I don't.
No, a friend of mine in class got called African.
Oh, okay. I was about
yeah,
to say
and
that.
I was just like, yeah, I ain't no African booty scratcher, you know. But it was going against the culture from the beginning. Oh, big up the cynical sending in $1.99, 100 likes, 200 watches, crazy work. That's what I'm wondering. But yeah, great conversation about culture, because that is the thing. Like, how far do we go back? Do we create this new Black culture? Or is it being made due to how technology is, how our families are set up, the different types of foods we eat? Like, when we talk about, like, even soul food, is that Black culture, or is that what we was given and we had to make it from what it was? So that's just certain things that tie into your whole conversation is very interesting. That's it.
I mean, I would say the culture derives out of what we're given, right? But even that deserves a particular kind of interrogation, because we're kind of skipping over the foundation of this country. So, like, any gains that we would receive still comes from this foundation that has never been broken. And so that's why we're consistently finding ourselves kind of the rights that we gain get stripped back, yada, yada. It keeps in this kind of circular thing because we never actually forged to break that foundation. We're just building on top of it. So a culture could very well derive from that, but then also thinking about, like, why does that look so distinct from what we see in other places? And why is our level or understanding of nationalism so different from other places? And that's because we don't have that kind of collective understanding of what a culture could be. And we don't move culturally in that way. We don't move as a nation, right? In terms of culture, because it's a mixed bag. But even to the point made, there's an attention to this, you know, culture is for consumption. Culture is not for, like, being able to liberate oneself. So in the imperial core, culture is strictly for consumption. That's why every city got a carnival now, right? Although, you know, they have issues with immigrants. You know, there's a Mexican restaurant, an Indian restaurant. Like, people love the food. Yeah. They hate the people. You see what I'm saying? So the U.S. has no issue with just siphoning the culture, because siphoning of culture and stealing is U.S.ian. Like, that's what they do. So even when I talk about, like, rap or like seeing white people rap to rap music, like, who controls the industry? We don't. So is that Black culture? Who decides that?
Yeah. Like, and the food part is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Erica.
Oh, no. I was just going to close it out. But that's why I was just kind of fixated on that, because culture, I think, is the battlefield, right? And we talk about a Black misleadership, or we're talking about a comprador class. They use culture to capture us, right? It's the rolling of the neck, you know, Black woman, Jasmine Crockett, right? We're supposed to get that. Despite anything else, she one of us, right? Because she can do all of that. Kamala get her silk press. She one of us.
Mhm.
And so there's a way that they use those things.
Mhm.
So we need to be
So
defining what.
if we was to pass down Black culture to another generation, would we be just taking pieces of the good parts and passing it down? Like, would we be like, how far will we go back? I guess certain, like, will we be talking about the 42 laws of Ma'at? Will we be talking about the 10 commandments? Will we? It's like, do you take certain parts of our culture and be like, okay, this is how we should if we was to present it to the youth?
Okay, so here's the problem. I think that, and it's a pretty foundational one. We don't know what culture even is.
Hmm.
We do not understand that culture is not just a thing, something a people produces, right? Culture is not just music. It is not just the written word. It is not just art, because that's generally what we think of when we think of culture, and food, right? But culture is a shared set of beliefs, traditions, all of those things that are created, behaviors, artifacts, the actual, things that people uh, um, create, and that define a group of people. That's the key. Culture is a shared set of all of these things: beliefs, traditions, practices, artifacts, food, shared, that define a people in a particular place and time, right? So a people's culture is not divorced from where that people are. So when we say Black culture is not separate, Black culture in the United States is not separate from the United States. It is not a separate, there is no separate and distinct Black culture because of where we are
Mhm.
and how Black people in this country have existed in the context of this country's history. Right? So the food part, I think, is really interesting, because even when we talk about the colonial influence on the Black American diet, what we
Mhm.
call soul food,
Yeah.
right? And what you brought up, the slave owners only giving the enslaved the leftover parts of the animals.
Mhm.
That is true, but it's not as if Africans didn't eat, organ meat and other things on the continent, all over the world. We've seen this in other cultures all over the world, particularly peasant, folks. It when they have meat, yes, they eat the entire animal, because you don't waste. The most indigenous cultures are very strict on not wasting any resources. So while, yes, the slave owners did that, there is also an African tradition of not wasting any part of the animal. But there's
Mhm.
also in soul food foods that are not native to this country that our people were brought here to bring and cultivate. Rice is one of those things. Black eyed peas are another.
Mhm.
Yams are another. So these are very like tangible artifacts of African culture that we have brought here, that are still somewhat intact, even the way we cook those foods. We didn't even realize that we were still cooking these particular foods the same way that our ancestors cooked them on the continent, because they still cook them that way today. So I think what I'm trying to say is the Americanization of what little bit of our culture that we have held on to, we don't even realize that we really don't have to go back that far to cultivate And it's not something that we have to remake. We just have to know our origins. We have to understand the context in this country that we exist in, and that context has shaped how our culture is, how our culture in this country has developed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's developed so much because of the influence of this country that we've forgotten that these connections to our indigenous culture are really still there. We just start to mock them just like the colonizers do, because look at how we talk about our diet now. Look at how we are judgmental and downright nasty to Black folks who still like some chitlins and some black eyed peas and some pig's feet, and they country, they backwards, this, that, and the third. But those people are still living our culture.
Well, that's the thing. When you say Black culture, I don't mean to jump in, but I am. When you say Black culture, it seems like it's more of your surroundings culture. If I'm in Barbados, flying fish, that's only over there. That's going to be part of your culture. If I'm over here and I see the skies all the time, I might have a sky god. So it depends on your surroundings that make your culture when you talk about culture.
Yeah, but even to Jackie's point, right? If you're in Barbados, you eating the whole fish. You eating the eyes. You eat, because culturally you don't waste. We do not waste. So I think that's what she's saying. Because even I seen somebody saying that they folks ate cow eyes, and I know people think it's weird that I eat fish eyes. I eat the whole fish.
It's mess too.
But that's part of your culture.
I know.
But again, the point being made, right? It's good luck.
See, that's part of that culture.
Team. Good luck. But even to the point that Jackie's making, right? That all comes from something. The kind of, and even in Barbados, they eating the cow foot. They eat cow heel. I mean, the heel of the cow, the shoulder. So it's not just Americans that are doing that. That's a kind of African way what she's naming. If we are, or indigenous way, right?
I think that's the word, indigenous.
People who do not waste, and not just. Yeah, and then if it's not just the meat, think about what the skin is used for, the hide. How people have homes, clothing, face, and so that's where we from that culture, right?
You're going in and out, but even like Renee's Jamaican culture, it's not the same as the Trinidadian culture. You know what I'm saying?
No, although Erica just named a whole bunch of stuff that Jamaicans also eat. And I also eat the fish head, including the eye, because that's what Jamaicans do.
That's wild.
And so, and cow tongue and liver and all like that. Yeah. It's
and see, you would think I would think that's because of slavery. Like they always forced to eat that. Like we was thinking we was forced, but nah, that's just what y'all eat. So if I'm living in an area where it's a lot of vegetation, I'm gonna be a vegetarian. I'm just trying to get this understanding of culture, and I think it's a good conversation. Y'all breaking it down, because when we talk about Black culture, it's more indigenous. It's more your surroundings that make your culture.
Yeah, I think your surroundings do dictate how you engage with the resources you need to live. That's interesting. Like,
social relations.
Like I grew up on a farm. Well, not a big farm, but a little subsistence farm. And we had a garden. My grandparents had a garden, so we ate fresh vegetables every single day. But we also had a couple of cows and a couple of pigs. But then when the animals were slaughtered, like literally nothing was what once that animal was cut up, And process, we call it processing because it's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do. So once that animal was processed, and everybody in the family got, and I mean, aunts and uncles and cousins, everybody in the family got a piece of, there was nothing left, like nothing. And that was in Jarrett, Virginia. So a part of that, I think, yes, is a like almost I do think that kind of thing is epigenetic. Epigenetic, is that what it is? It's
Epigenetic.
passed down. Thank you, sir. It's passed down through generations in your genes, like trauma is. So these kind of memories, genetic memories of social relations, just the idea of everybody has a subsistence farm, half the people have a little bit of livestock. So when somebody processes one of their herd, everybody gets something. That's not, I think that is genetic, but it is also a result of your physical condition, because we're talking about Black folks in the South, in a small town, run by racist white people. And they wanted to have as little contact with those white people as possible for their own safety, right? So there was a lot of relying on each other. There was a lot of communalism. And so you did have to do things to make sure that people had what they needed. And while that was an act of communalism, it was also an act of safety, because for the most part, we didn't see those racist white people until we had to go into town, and for our grandparents until they had to go to work, right? So everything else we did as a community, we did away from them, and we made sure that we stayed away from them as much as we could. So in that way, yeah, your physical environment contributes to your culture, but also a part of our culture, I think, is passed down through epigenetic memory. I do believe that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back here and work on my book, The Myth of Black Culture.
Oh boy.
I just want to point out that the fact that he was really like epigenetic, trying to like
I know.
clear you up when he didn't know what hubris meant. Like I can't, I can't wait not to
find all those
What was
words.
the word he kept putting an N in?
All those words will be in the book.
It's gonna be a bunch of words.
Well, ladies, I do have to go. I pushed it a bit. I have to go volunteer and be a mom, a single mom, Jackie.
Just a mom, just a mom. That ain't our business.
Hey, give me my credits. All right. Well, lovely. Have a great day.
Well, thank you. Thanks for hanging out extra. Hug our baby for us. Oh Lord, man, this whole timeline of life right now.
I just
Renee,
can't, Jackie. And then like the regular stuff doesn't stop.
I know.
Right? Like the regular everyday, you still have to pay your bills. You still have to deal with other people's stuff. Life still be lifing.
Like, can I really just, can we crowdfund me to find a nice little cabin by a lake somewhere? And just because I kind of want to disappear. I think I don't like people anymore. I think that's what it is. I just I wake up in the morning and what Paul Robeson got to do with this? I wake up in the morning. Don't you be guilting me with Paul Robeson. I don't know what that was about, but don't do it. but I mean, I wake up in the morning and I've had to train myself not to immediately turn on the news, not to immediately read the news. Um, so I've started. I hate to call it this, but a little mindfulness exercise because my therapist said I had to do it. But so I get up in the morning now and I lay there and I feel, myself just, make sure not like that, you nasty perverts you. I know it's three of you in the chat. Oh, do you? Oh yeah. That's why you so bright and bushy tailed. No, you nasty pervert. I actually said that to my doctor when she told me that. And she's like, I see what your problem is. You don't take anything seriously. But I do, doctor. I do. This is my defense mechanism. Um, so I lay there and I am aware of my limbs, because I think we get up and go. We don't ground ourselves in that moment. I know I don't. So that's been kind of a struggle. I just kind of lay there and it's like, oh, the bed is comfy and I'm waking up and I'm feeling, am I in pain? How do I physically feel? How do I feel this morning? And then I get up, and then I still don't turn on anything. I go to open the curtains and go to the window and enjoy the birds and all this kind of bullshit. And at that point, that's when I get annoyed. Because then I see the people walking around. And I'm like, you know what? No, fuck this. I'm not doing this today. No, and then I turn on and I go downstairs, make my coffee, and I start reading the news and be like, oh God.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going out there today.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And there's almost no, like, I don't even know if you go into a cabin in the middle of nowhere and trying to pretend like you don't know what you know would work.
It will not.
Right. Because that's the problem, right? Like, often I have this conversation with myself about, if the bubble is easier. Like, do people who live in the bubble and like just don't care about anything and don't know about anything and don't read nothing and don't watch, because there are people who exist who are like this. I'm always fascinated by them. I want to almost like put a camera on their head and like just follow them through the day to understand, like, how do you get through the whole day with having no clue about what's happening around you? And then I realized, like, I don't know that being caught off guard by reality is a better situation, because it's only bliss until it hits you and there's no avoiding it. Right? Like,
right.
Right? Like,
uh-huh. And then Renee, don't those people, when it hits them, aren't they like the neediest people on the planet? They are just, then it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do you need to tell me what to do? But we've been telling you.
Right. And then, like, has this been happening the whole time? Yes, motherfucker. It's been happening the whole time. It's wild. I mean, it is wild.
It is very strange. And I think I've been trying not to be too judgmental of folks, because we all come to understanding what's really going on in our own time for our own reason. It takes different impetuses for some people. So yeah, we all come to consciousness at a different time, and I get that. I do. But these people who have been punching left all this time, and now what the left has been telling you is coming, is here, and now they're either like deadly silent. You don't hear from them at all, or they're the panicky ones. They're like, oh my God, what do we do? They're the Trump must go now folks. And then we're still the ones who are like, okay, cool, but if you get rid of Trump, what you gonna do with Vance?
Right.
Because he's next to, and then what you gonna do with Hegseth? What you gonna do? What you gonna do with Schumer? What you gonna do with him? And
a bunch of people got arrested outside of Schumer's office in New York this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cracking me up.
And it's like, all right, I'm glad somebody's finally getting it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't often. I think because life has been life, and she doesn't annoy me as much. But Linda Sarsour often used to annoy me, and she doesn't annoy me as much now. But it's because she's angry now, right? Like so, and I try to remind myself, like, don't be mad at people for realizing now that they should be angry. Just be glad that they're angry now. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like, and then I have to remind myself, like, I had my days when I was more pressed about like the new bag and the new shoes and the whatevers, right? And the club hopping, and so it's like we all go through our phases of life and all these different things, but there's you're right, there has to be, and I am not good. My patience might be less than yours, which is saying a lot. Like, that's to tell you, like, how right? Listen. And I was talking to Samantha yesterday. Shout out Sam. I think she's in the chat. And we were talking about like people, like recognizing when you have gotten to a certain space and you are surrounded by people who you didn't used to mind, but now you're like, fuck, you're still there? Like, how are you still like, why? How are you still there? Like, what is happening? And then trying to navigate those spaces in a way that it like being almost respectful of the understanding that like you weren't always in this place, and so you have to give room. You have to give room for that stuff, right? Like, you have to give room for it. And I am working on it. I'm trying, because my first thought sometimes just be to cuss people out because I'm sick of everybody. But we're gonna do better. We're gonna do better.
Yeah, I'm there, and I'm trying, but I'm honest. I mean, I try to at least be honest. If even if I'm not always entirely consistent with every single thing, I try to at least be honest when I know I'm slipping. And that is definitely a slippery area for me.
It's a slippery one. Just because Ron has asked yes, Zoran gets on my nerves, and no, he is not a Trojan horse, because Trojan horses imply that people don't know exactly who he is. People knew exactly who he was, and they were okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, and Trojan horse. Why does this system need a Trojan horse? They don't.
No.
No, he's not. There's only so much he is going to be able to do in this system as it exists. He knows that. He's done a couple of good things so far, but he has also gotten closer, capitulated to the Zionists. So do with that what you will. I'm just,
Man. Yeah, I've seen people have complete mental breakdowns once they came about getting knowledge of self at a certain age, and like really, their whole life is flipped upside down. I remember when when my mom passed, and I was in the Baptist church, all that stuff. And then when my mom passed, I was like, wait a minute, God would take my mom from me? What the fuck? And then I was just like, nah, that shit ain't real. So it took me to a whole nother place and time. Like, I'm not fucking with that shit no more because it ain't real to me. So I've seen people, have mental breakdowns once they come into a knowledge of self, and it will blow your fucking mind once you realize shit ain't what it is. Like Fela said, everything is upside down. And ignorance being bliss, it's some real shit. Like if I'm just really focused on getting money, I'm not giving a fuck about what I can and can't control out in these other countries and these wars and shit. Why am I even thinking about that shit? So I get some people.
I'm gonna leave that analogy alone because it was very weak.
Yeah, it was
Because I don't it has and we only got 9 minutes.
Right. And
We don't have time.
be trying to get me. I'm not
that one
nope.
apart.
What did
I'm
I was just
Nope. We
I
will
was-
welcome Kim C 6867. Kim, welcome.
You know damn well what
to
you
Black
did.
Liberation Media. We are very excited to have you.
I was just releasing thoughts out of my head. That's all.
See, he got the laugh. See, look, he's like, damn, it didn't work.
It did not. It did not.
No. But yeah, ignorance. It's cool, like you're saying, it's cool until that shit fuck with you, until it comes in your backyard. You're like, oh shit, it'll turn your whole world upside down. So,
and we are literally in the belly of the beast. Like I just, even as I say, like people literally like they're walking around in a bubble, like even them, they're not really in the bubble they think they're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they are still in their bubble, like on the rat race, like trying to get to their job so they can pay the bill, and but they're completely bogged down by capitalism. They just don't name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very interesting. Look at the new Kim. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We do appreciate you. Welcome to the family, Kim.
Yeah. So we got about 8 minutes left. Cool beans. We got another quick story, but I would like to let y'all know to make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock for a classical breakdown as we do Shaka Khan. Yeah, Shaka Khan. Ooh, that's a bad picture of Shaka, boy.
Yes, thank you. We were about to go somewhere. We don't need to go.
We're just gonna leave that alone. But we can end with something like, like not really. I don't want to lie and say light, but I just happened to take a peek. Woo! Lord, why they do us like this, y'all? So the Essence has announced the black reps that are going to be on the
Sade
inductee list.
Woo.
So we got Queen Latifah, Sade, Luther Vandross, MC Light. Looks like the Wu-Tang is up there.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it.
So a mix of legacy art and genre shaping artists. That might
is
hear during a themed episode of American Idol.
But guess who got snubbed that was supposed to be in there? Who should definitely be in there? New Edition. No? New Edition? I mean, if we got Wu-Tang in there, come on.
Yeah, but Wu-Tang literally changed hip hop. Literally. Like that style, that like you got 8 dudes on stage and they have totally different styles and they all come on, man.
I mean, Onyx, Naughty by Nature, they had the rough and rugged style.
But that was 3 and 4 people. Wu-Tang was like 12 dudes on stage.
Yeah, but New Edition though. I mean, we're talking about even their solo careers: BBD, Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill.
But does that count for the inductee? thing?
Should.
Like, do they consider that?
Yeah, man, fuck them anyway. I'm giving them an award. They should we giving the Black Liberation Media Awards. Fuck their awards. How about that?
There we go.
I agree with that. I think I agree.
I'm on board with that. I'm on board. So this is interesting. I think so, as usual, as I like to say, that unfortunately Black folks still get happy and excited about getting shiny things from white people.
Pretty much.
And so, this is just another shiny things from white people thing. And we just gone. I don't know. Yeah. I have a really hard time getting excited about any of these things. Like, although I will highly recommend, there is a documentary on Old Dirty Bastard on Hulu that I just happened across. It's like 2 years old. I didn't even know this thing existed. The level, just the COINTELPRO, the tip of the spear, Ori Burton level of what was happening when he was in prison. Like, I was like, why don't I, like, how did I not know this story? So highly recommend that folks, well, I mean, they leave a ton out, but I was actually very, very shocked at some of the stuff that I learned in that documentary. There's some wild stuff. And it's something that I think there's so much that we don't understand about how these representations, the artists, the musicians, the actors, all these people, like, what is happening when they are not pushed before us to be the thing that we're supposed to want to be, that I feel like needs some serious examination. Well,
let me go get ready to work out. I gotta get my workout in today. Oh, get these muscles. I gotta get rid of the stomach.
What is he talking about things that don't exist?
Because he looked at the time and he was like, let me make sure they don't get to talking too much when we close the door.
What you doing? You speaking things into existence?
I do got a little stomach. I gotta look at it. But it's supposed to be like this. Just look at that. Look. What we got coming up on Darker Than Blue this week?
You know I don't know that today.
You do that to her every Wednesday. Why you do that?
Sometimes she knows she gonna have a guest.
I don't know, but this is this week's edition of Black Agenda Report. Trump, Jesus, and White Supremacy from Margaret Kimberly. Reprint of Malcolm X's Zionist Logic from 1964 regarding nuclear war between Israel and Iran from Ann Garrison. Anthony Rogers Wright, Israel just passed a law sanctioning the lynching of Palestinians. So why is the Congressional Black Caucus so silent about it, motherfuckers? And me, I wrote this banger, Shortcomings and Benefits of the UN Resolution on Transatlantic Trafficking. And this is the reprint of the article we talked about today. Here, Petros Ben wrote this incredible, really great Internal Colonialism and the Reproduction of Capital, all with Cuba stand against the threat of imperialist aggression in April from Resume English, and Iran's resistance exposes U.S. weaknesses, a Black Agenda Radio podcast episode. So I'm going to drop this in the chat for you all. Please check out Black Agenda Report this week.
Did you know, Jackie, that your fellow Black Agenda Report writer, Isam, he cleared his dissertation on Monday and he is now Dr. Isam. Congrats. I know, I was very excited. Very excited.
That's the dude running for something?
No.
I'm thinking about the other Eastern guy y'all was talking to. What you got coming up Saturday, Renee?
I can't. I just can't.
I just show up.
Ain't his name Easton too? The guy that's running
I
for.
Understand a lot of what goes on. I just show up. Like
I appreciate you.
So I think we're gonna call it probably tomorrow, and it's probably gonna be Samantha who joins us on Saturday, and we'll start doing some of these roundtable conversations about third cinema and looking at I think we're really gonna try and do this film festival thing that we've been chit-chatting about. So I think that's good. No, Monty, not Andre Easton. Easton, his last name starts with an E, and I don't know how to. Oh, you were talking about Andre Easton.
Yes.
No, Easton.
Okay.
Y'all be trying to play the guard.
Sorry, y'all.
No problem.
Yeah, my bad.
I know he's running for something.
Andre Easton, yes, is running for Congress in Harlem. In the Bronx. Ooh, sorry, Andre. Don't kill. In the Bronx.
Get it right, Renee.
Easton. Uh-oh, he getting cranky now. He getting cranky.
I know. He ready to go. He like 10:01. This what I was trying to avoid. But real quick, come back, y'all, folks. Come back at 2:30. Leif Marouf from Palestine Free TV is going to be on with Jared and I at 2:30. He's also going to be on Millennials at 1. So if you have the time to listen to both, I'm going to try not to have him talk about the same stuff for 3 hours. So there we go.
You need me to come on? I can help him. Hey, make sure y'all come back tomorrow at 8 a.m. for some more of the Remix Morning Show. Also, as we get on a topic that I know is going to ruffle some feathers when we talk about Africa Bambaataa.
Oh my!
All right. So tune in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for that, and we will see you then. And make sure y'all tune into all the other shows right here on Black Liberation Media. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Jackie Lukeman, Renee Johnston, and Erica Keynes. I'm the Ear Doctor, and we out. Peace. Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.